Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, this takes into the second half of August. We're going up to around the 20th of the month with this particular update. Looks like weather could be going a bit downhill actually through the course of this week. It's been a job to pin this week's weather down, but the models sort of latched on to the idea that as we run through the week, it's going to turn increasingly unsettled, and there could be some very heavy rain coming up from the south on Thursday. That could be thundery, and that pushes northwards through into Friday. Temperatures taking a tumble as well, and that could set us into a more unsettled phase as we go through into the second half of August. So maybe signs that summer is sort of going away a little bit as we go through into the middle and second part of the month. Of course, it never really started across the north. It's been a terrible summer for Scotland and Northern Ireland. It's been okay at times across England and Wales, but we may just be seeing signs that things are going more towards an autumnal type pattern perhaps as we get through into the second half of the month. But that is a bit speculative, and let's wait and see where things go. But before I get on with the detail on the video, I just want to say about the ads. Since I've got all pages that go, so if you don't have browser widgets, any articles that you're interested in, you click through. Thanks so much for doing that. Video ads, those pages, they open out within the content, then they close back up again when you've watched them. Thanks so much for getting involved. And thanks for doing that. Just going to quick start off with the radar from the weatheroutlook.com. Just got some quite heavy rain already across the country today, so already things turning a little bit more unsettled, particularly across southwest Scotland and Northern Ireland. Some very heavy bursts of rain there. Showery rain from northern England, Wales, in towards the southwest of England. Also starting to push up towards the Midlands. That'll all carry on northwards and eastwards through the course this afternoon. So almost anywhere could get some rain this afternoon. I think in the south east it's going to be quite light and patchy, but further north through parts of Midlands, the East Anglia, there may be one or two heavier outbreaks of rain developing this afternoon. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days. So say these take us up to around the 20th of the month. So what we see with this is that they're both looking quite unsettled really. You've got the east end of the earth here on the left and the GFS is over on the right. 500 millibars is and that's a high pressure, low pressure being moved around by the jet stream, and we've got low pressure on both of these charts sitting very close to the country. The exact position differs a little bit, but generally the idea is somewhere around the UK or to the north or northwest. The jet stream is going rather like that around the trough, and then the reef sitting up to the northeast. So both of these charts really indicating a fairly unsettled pattern, quite a coolish pattern as well, because within that trough the jet stream is generally a little bit to the south of the country. So coolish and unsettled really for the second half of August on those charts, and that is backed up by the GFS temperature and precipitation ensemble. So the red line here is the 30-year temperature average, the thick red line, and we're a little bit above average at the moment. We're going to go a little bit more above average at the end of this week, but that's in association with a lot of rain, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. After that though, the trend is very much downwards into a bit of a cooling trend for into the second half of the month, and there's no real evidence there that temperature stage recovery actually as we go through into the final week of the month. This takes up to the 25th of August just here, and the temperatures are still looking a little bit lowly even then. A lot of scatter, of course, as you always get in the second half of these ensemble charts, but generally no general indication that temperatures lift up into very warm or hot categories in the second half of the month. Now, the rainfall is the big story here. Look at all of these rainfall spikes coming up later this week. That is a very wet period, probably the wettest period that we've had for the south anyway this summer. Lots of spikes there around the 13th and 14th of August, this period just here. After that, we keep fairly regular precipitation spikes going through the chart, you'll notice. So no real sign of a drying trend, not as wet as this period here around the 13th, 14th, but nevertheless, rainfall coming through at fairly regular intervals. So it looks quite unsettled through into the second half of the month. And it also looks pretty cool as well with the temperatures. Not a great combination for late summer And that rainfall there around the 13th, 14th of August does look very dramatic indeed. Maybe a little bit over the top. We'll have to wait and see whether it's actually as wet as that. It may get downgraded a little bit as we run through the course of the week. We'll keep an eye on it. Here's the temperature anomaly for the coming week, going from the 10th to the 18th of August. Generally around average, a little bit below average in the north. Still ever so slightly above average down in the south. But I think these charts will be cooling through the course of this week. We will notice a cooling trend, and if we come back, say on Thursday, have another look at these on Thursday, I think they will look significantly cooler than this. Notice how warm it is across the east of Europe, by the way. The heat that we've had in the central western area is going to be pushed eastwards through the course of this week. If you want to know more about where across Europe, check out the European Outlook that was updated earlier today. The precipitation anomaly comes out like this. Generally a little bit wetter than average for most parts of the country. The east still nearer normal, but the north and west, particularly, and in the south, coming out a bit wetter than average. I think these will be trending again more towards the wetter side of average as we run through this week. So let's just deal with the weather on Thursday and Friday first of all. Here we are with the GFS generic chart for Wednesday. And we've got a region of high pressure through the country, but it's this area of low pressure down across France with Bay of Biscay has been causing all sorts of headaches with the model output determining where this low pressure is going. The trend is very much to bring it up into the UK now. So as we move through into Thursday, this is the chart for 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. There's the low pressure pushing northwards into England and Wales. It's coming from France. It's got a lot of warm air associated with it. We won't necessarily feel the warmth because it's going to be quite wet, so that'll lower the temperatures. But the actual air mass is quite warm and humid, so there could be thunder being generated with this. We may update Stormwatch later in the week, or perhaps even this afternoon. I'll keep posted on that via my Facebook and Twitter feed. So this is the precipitation forecast, 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and we see we've got quite a lot of heavy rain already across England and Wales. Very wet across much of France. These are thunderstorms going down into France, I'm quite certain of that. As we go through Thursday, it just stays very wet really across many parts of England, Wales and Ireland as well, so it could be thunderstorms associated with that. Deep blue colours are in there for Thursday, so a very wet day. Could be over an inch of rain quite widely across many parts of the country. Whether this is a persistent massive rain or whether it's sort of thunderstorms, and some places within this very wet area will miss the storms and stay dry. I've got to wait and see. It's a little bit too early to be pinning down exact detail like that, but it does look nevertheless a very wet day for many parts of the country on Thursday. There's the low pressure right over top of the country as we go through into Thursday evening. Carry on north to take risk of that heavy rain, possibly thunder up to the north of the country. So we go through to Friday, and there's the low pressure sitting slap bang over top of the country. It will still be a very unsettled day on Friday, and as we move through into the weekend, that low pressure clears away, but we start to pull in much cooler air then from the Atlantic, so temperatures will take a tumble into the weekend. It will turn drier, not completely dry because we're bringing in a westerly flow, and there's still systems moving across the country within that flow, so there'll be bands of showery rain, but it's not as torrentially wet as it looks like it's going to be on Thursday. But it's a much cooler air mass, so you'll feel the difference as we go through into the weekend. It will feel quite chilly probably in the north and the west, or as chilly as it can do in the middle of summer. Well, actually, we're almost getting to late summer now. Once you get to late summer, if it's cloudy, overcast and raining, it does feel more like autumn than summer, if you see what I mean. As we go through into the start of next week, we're still in an unsettled pattern. Low pressure to the north of the country, bringing in this fairly cool, showery west to northwesterly flow. Try to build a little bit of high pressure here to the south on Tuesday, but by day 10, which is Thursday, 24th of August, we're bringing another low pressure back into the country, turning it unsettled once again. So pretty cool, pretty unsettled into the second half of August. The ECMWF very similar. There's that thundery low for Thursday. That pushes northwards as we go through into Friday. Could bring a lot of heavy rain across the country Thursday into Friday. And then going through into the weekend, the thundery low moves northwards, and we pull down this cool northwesterly, westerly wind. That'll have cool air with it, and showers will be revolving around that area of low pressure. It stays cool and showery into Sunday. Another low pressure may be moving in on Monday. That could bring a band of cloud and showery rain across the country, and again, it's all within quite a cool air mass from the west or the northwest. And then we end up on day 10, sort of in this westerly flow, so we've got a bit of a high pressure trying to ridge through the south, but really it's this low around Iceland that is in control of weather, so still quite cool with the air mass. And although mainly dry patches down in the south, there could be more rain threatening from the north and west through the course of the day. This is from the Icelandic Met Office. This was shared by James on my comment section this morning. This is the precipitation forecast from the ECMWF. We don't normally get a lot of detail from the ECMWF model. So this is quite unique to be seeing this. As I said, it's from the Icelandic Met Office. It's mainly focusing on the Atlantic, but the UK is just over here in the bottom right hand corner as you're looking at. You just about see us there, and we're going to run through the precipitation for Wednesday and into Thursday. So this is midnight on Thursday morning as we run through the course of Thursday. See all this green and yellow gathering down to south. That is heavy rain pushing up from the south, so we get a band of heavy rain coming up from the south through the course of Thursday morning on the ECMWF model. That could be thundery. And then it sort of eased off for a little while, but then another area of heavy rain starts to push up from France as we go into the evening. This is 6 o'clock in the evening on Thursday. I mean, it's turning very wet through the course of Thursday and into Friday. Some torrential rains in there. This is the scale just here. So when we're in these sort of deep green colours, that is 20 millimetres of rain. And then we move through into the early hours of Friday, and that's carrying on northwards then, taking heavy rain, possibly with thunder, to the north and the west. I thought I'd just throw that in because we don't usually get all that much information from the ECMWF model, so I thought you'd enjoy seeing that as a bit of a treat. But it looks like we're going to be in for a pretty unsettled period. It's all starting today, really, with some showering rain coming across the country. Things will be drying up for Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we risk some very wet weather on Thursday, possibly with thunder. After that, we sort of go into a pretty cool and showery period, really, for the second half of August. So is summer slipping away? Did it ever get started in the north? We'll have to wait and see. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.